Hi, welcome to Bipolar Boxing Picks. My name's Nick. Let's get into Shaquie Foster versus Rocky Hernandez. This is for Foster's 130-pound title, the WBC title. And guys, I think the line is way off here. Way off. If I was setting this line, I would put Foster at about a 5 or a 6-1 favorite in this fight. And he's not even a 2-1 favorite. He's minus 150. The line keeps going down. And I just can't figure it out. I can't figure it out. I mean, I'm kind of biased towards the style of Shaquie Foster. I love a defensively sound American urban fighter. Those are just the guys that I like. And Foster can bang too, but like he's just like his last few fights, especially that last fight against Ray Vargas. I mean, he looked phenomenal in that fight, and he was on all night. So I mean, that's the fight I'm going to assume that we're going to get from him from here on out is a guy that's that focused, just doesn't make any mistakes. And it's going to be a little bit more difficult in this fight because even though Ray Vargas was a pretty big guy, like he wasn't a very big puncher. He does have the Mexican style, but Hernandez has got the true Mexican style. He's a very pressure fighter, and he's just he's got one punch knockout power, which Ray Vargas didn't have. If Ray Vargas was going to knock you out, it was most likely going to be a TKO. But Rocky Hernandez could hit you with that one shot. But that's what you're banking on if you pick Rocky Hernandez in this fight. And like I said, those are the guys that you take. Like last week, they were way off with the Rocha matchup against Santolini. I mean, they had Rocha as a 6-1 favorite in that fight, and that was just way off. And I think they got it wrong here too. I mean, Shaquie Foster, I don't see him losing a round in this fight. If it is, it's going to be early, but I could easily see him winning 12 rounds to none or get a late stoppage against Hernandez. I don't see that one punch coming. I guess if it comes, it comes, but you tell me you're not going to bet, it's 150 to win $100 on Foster, and you just got to assume he's going to outbox Rocky Hernandez. Rocky Hernandez has been fighting. I mean, I saw his last 6 fights. Those guys he fought were not that good. They're not that good. They had decent records, but they were meant to build him back up because he got starched in the first round by Roger Gutierrez, who's not that good. But Roger Gutierrez is also a big puncher, so I don't take much away from that loss because a big puncher clips you, he clips you, and that's what happened to him in the first round. But, I mean, guys, just like styles make fights, and just like whenever you see these two styles, unless one guy is far superior than the other guy, just take the defensively minded fighter who's going to just bank you rounds. When you're sitting there watching these fights and you got money on them, you want to see the guy that's constantly winning rounds. Like I lost all faith in Mauricio Lara after that last loss to Lee Wood. I've just sat and realized that the guy can't win rounds. So if he doesn't land his one punch, or if he doesn't hurt some guy at some point in the fight, that guy's not going to win at the top level. And this is the way I feel about Rocky Hernandez. Like, you're going to have to put him in there against somebody who's very similar in styles for him to beat, but he's not going to beat anybody like an Shaquie Foster. I just don't see it. Like I said, I think the lines are way off on this fight, and so I got Shaquie Foster at minus 150, but I threw Fury and I think Joseph Parker on the parlay to get them all the way down to a pick 'em. So $100 to win $100, and I don't think it's that hard. And like I tried to overthink this one because whenever I see odds like that, I'm like, oh, there's something I'm missing. Let me go do a little bit more research on Rocky Hernandez. But like, guys, there's nothing else there. I mean, maybe they're just looking at the fact that Foster had those 2 losses, but like I don't take nothing against him with those 2 losses. He's a completely different fighter. I believe he had a little delay in at least in his boxing career with that. He went to jail, and then he came out and just dedicated his life to boxing, but he did have an amateur background before that. So he got a later start, but guys, he's 30 years old, so he's really in his prime of his career. And he looked absolutely phenomenal. In my opinion, he's the best 130-pounder on the planet. That's just in my eyes. Like, I wouldn't rate him higher than Navarrete for what he's accomplished, but I think he can beat a guy like Navarrete. Like, this is the guy. I would love to see. Maybe other people would disagree with me, but I would love to see him versus Joe Cordina, because Joe Cordina is a very smart fighter as well, and it would really be about like who gets hit less in that fight. But I would pick Shaquie Foster. I would favor him myself over everybody else in the division at 130. So why the hell would I not pick him here at 150, minus 150? So yeah, like I said, this is just a video I'm making because I do feel very strongly about this pick. I usually never feel strongly about anybody that's this close to odds, but the last time I did was probably Fury versus Wilder 1, and I said the same thing for that fight. I believe I said I would take Fury even if he was like a 12 or a 15 to 1 favorite against Wilder. And I would, anytime they ever laced up the gloves, I would take them, because just that style beats the style of, I hope I land one punch, I hope I hurt this guy. Well, what happens when you don't? Those guys don't have a plan B. And I don't see Shaquille Foster falling behind on points to where he needs a knockout, so he doesn't need his power. But I think the knockout could come later. I think Shaquille Foster could really frustrate this guy. And that's the problem with those pressure fighters. When they don't land, they leave themselves open a lot during the fight. And Shaquille Foster, just from that last fight, that's really the only thing I'm going by with this guy's career. The Roman fight, he looked real good too, but he fought a little differently. Like, he looked like a defensive wizard out there in his last fight. So just hop on Shaquille Foster here, guys. It's a real easy pick in my opinion. And the card's not that good, but hey, it's boxing on at the end of the night. There's no UFC on tomorrow. There's a little bit of college football on, but there's not much going on tomorrow night. So take him, and I'm about to watch Amanda Serrano here. You guys have a good night.